We've got a couple Craftsman Pro Series riding mowers here. I'm going to take you through some of the differences on these two models, some of the similarities, and kind of an overall quality and service review on it. Now, the T8600 has a 46-inch deck. It's also got the Kohler KT735 in it. It's going to be 7000 Elite Series, 24 horse. The other one over here is basically going to have the same engine. Now, I think it's the KT715. Correct. So this one's the KT715. Also the Kohler Elite 7000 series. So for all intents and purposes, the engine is pretty well the same. Minor similarities in them. Now on this one it says, let's see, data manufacture 1 of 2016. Now this one has the 42-inch deck on it. And this is only a 20 horsepower as opposed to the 24. This one, data manufacture 3 of 2016. So they're made almost exactly the same time. These two tractors were. This is the T8600 and that is the T7800 on the far side. Again, this one's 46-inch. That one has the 42-inch deck to it. On this one, there's some major upgrades. We've got the power steering upgrade. There's a big logo right there, but there's a motor underneath right here, and that basically gives electrical power support to your steering as you're moving. Anytime the engine is on, when you turn, it gives voltage to help an assist motor to turn. You can see down in there. Now that's a huge thing if you're going around a bunch of stuff, or if you have turns that are kind of tight. This one turns extremely tight. It's called a Turn Tight Extreme, I believe. Oh, it says right here, Turn Tight Extreme. Look at that. This thing turns just extremely tight, and it's super nice because of the power steering. Now you can tell a big difference when you move both of these in, which one has the power steering. This power steering, the whole front axle was upgraded on this. It has a cast, and then it's got a big assembly that comes off. Now the other one does not have that. The other one has kind of the standard assembly that they put on a lot of these. You can see it's all open, unlike the other one. The other one has that motor down in this spot, taking all that room up. But this just has that standard front axle and steering assembly, which is not nearly as nice as the other one. Well, there goes the phone. That's always nice. Again, 42-inch deck on that one, 46-inch deck on this one. Now these decks, they are the rolled steel kind of lower end stuff you would expect from an MTD. There's nothing special about this deck. Now this one we just completely rebuilt. Put new spindles and belt and blades, idlers, everything like that on it. And they just go bad very quickly. If they're abused real bad, like this one, you can see something's been hit and actually busted a spot through the deck. The deck's not real thick and it's not real high quality. They rust out pretty quickly. You always want to make sure you keep those clean, otherwise you will have issues with them in the future. The other deck's exactly the same, except it's a 42. Same version of everything. Now up under, it's real easy to get in here and see your drive system. Now you want to clean this out. If you're using one of these units, clean it out often. Don't let that stuff build up in here and let that transmission overheat. These both have the Tough Torque K46 transmission in them. It's probably the most popular transmission out there. We see a ton of them. They work pretty well as long as you take care of them. If you let that grass build up and they overheat and stuff like that, you will not get nearly the life out of them as the others. Now, deck height adjustment is going to be the same on this one and the other one. They're both on this side here. On the far side one, there is a deck engagement cable over on this side also. So to engage your deck, you've got to push the lever forward, and that engages the deck down below. Hey, that works great on this thing. You just engage it and off it goes. On the other one, it doesn't have that handle because it has an electronic PTO. So instead of a cable going to the bottom to engage the blade, the belt always stays tight. The belt is tight right now. Everything's ready to go. And then as soon as you hit that PTO, it pops in and everything starts spinning down below. Now the other one, the belt is loose until that lever is pushed forward, and that's when the belt actually tightens up in order to get your blades to start spinning. Serviceability wise, these things, as far as the deck goes, well, you can see some, I thought there was a weld starting to break, but it's just some surface rust, it looks like right this second. As far as these serviceability on these decks go, there really isn't any. Nothing's greasable at all. Everything is sealed bearings that are supposed to be good for the life of the bearing. Not ideal for sure. I prefer anything that can be greased, as you know, you're going to get more life out of that bearing regardless of what they tell you. If you can grease it, that is a plus. You want to do that. Fuel tanks on them are going to be the same size, same location and everything. No differences there. The controls, the brake, the key and everything like that, they've got a similar system as far as the reverse system on them. You can mow and reverse here at the first if you hit the button before you reverse, and then normal mowing is at the forward there, and obviously all the way to the right to start. That's the same on both. Parking brake is the same on both. Hood and cowling and everything is basically the same. I mean, they look very similar. You wouldn't be able to tell from a distance really which one was which, besides the size of the deck. Now, 4 inches deck size different, they give you an extra 4 horsepower for that on this T8600 as opposed to the T7800. Quite a bit more horsepower, you know, for a few more inches of deck. But either way, both of these are powered plenty for a 42 or a 46 inch deck. I mean, that 20 horse is plenty of power to power this 46 inch deck also, the 715 over here. It would have worked just fine on this one. Wouldn't have had any issues with it whatsoever. There's plenty of power out of these mowers to push what they're trying to do with them. The serviceability and the quality just is not there. Now you've got a couple grease zerks for the drive system and stuff up here. If you get into those, that's great. Get them greased. I think there's another one on the far side for the swivel also. Have to jack that up and get to it. And then there should be one normally straight up through right at the middle for the middle of the axle. I'm not feeling it here. This one may not have it. Some of them do and some of them don't, but that's the front axle is the only thing on this thing that's going to be greasable. Everything else is fittings or bushings or bearings that all are non-serviceable for their life. Now again, K46 is a very popular transmission. It is not serviceable. There's no way to check or add oil or anything like that to it without pulling the transmission out. Now there is a plug up top where you could take that out and pull the magnet and stuff. On this design, it's almost possible just because it's right out here in the open, but it's not recommended. If you're gonna need to do some stuff to the transaxle, go ahead and pull it completely out, service it like it should be serviced. Hopefully that doesn't happen for quite a while. If you've got one of these units or you're planning on buying them, let's see here, we've got, trying to figure out how many, 229 hours on this thing is what it's got on it. So that's what it's made on the deck, and that's not horrible for a deck life, especially something like this that's, you know, non-greasable bearings. Let's see what this one has on it. And again, these were both built in 2016, so you figure they got about the same amount of, this one's only got 101 hours on it. Probably about the same amount as far as years wise old goes. They've probably got quite a bit different varying amounts of acreage, these two people. The tires on them, the rims, everything like that are exactly the same. There is no difference. The deck lift and everything like that is essentially exactly the same on each of these as the other. The frame, the you know, everything here for all intents and purposes is the same, besides the You know, the front steering, the power steering, engine size is a little bit different, and then deck size. Hopefully that helps you with some information about these. Now, this Craftsman Pro Series mowers that we've got here, I can tell you this much: they're anything but professional series. They're anything but professional grade. These are nothing more than low-end mowers with a few minor upgrades, selling for a premium price and being sold as that. There's really nothing special about them except for the hydro trans and the better engines. The rest of it is just that lower end model, the lower end design that they've been selling for years and years. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of info and a little bit of description on what's going on these mowers, the differences between the two, the quality of them, and how you should buy. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.